What's good, everybody? Welcome back for another episode of our Madden 23 San Antonio Express draft only expansion franchise where I got some bad news. Well, first let's start off with the good news. We have a breakout here for our best receiver, Eddie Hazelton. So, chance for him to go up to superstar is massive. It's gonna help our team a lot if we can get that up. But as you could probably tell by the length of this video, things didn't go exactly as we would hope. A lot of this game against the Vikings was corrupted, basically all the way from second quarter, 8 minutes, to about a minute left in the third quarter. So half of this game, the video was corrupted, and then once we got it back with a minute left in the third quarter, there was a desync between the video and the audio. So it just, sounds really weird. And it's not, I'm sure there's a way to fix it. I'm just not a technical genius. And I've been thinking over the last couple of days, I had the day off yesterday while we're figuring out what to do with Bears franchise. Trying to figure out what I could do about it. And honestly, I just think this episode, we're going to have to treat it like two sim games. Note that I played this Minnesota game. It's just going to not feel like it because we're just basically going to load into it and then see the final score and go over the stats. It's basically just going to be a episode of it, to you guys, it's just going to feel like an episode of two sim games. I don't really know any other way to do it. If it was like a very entertaining fourth quarter, maybe I'd find a way to get some gameplay in, but we'll see when we get into the game. It wasn't a very entertaining fourth quarter. It was a pretty one-sided game. And so I just felt it best to maybe just make this a shorter episode, get back on track. I have recorded the next episode as well already, and there's no problems with that video. So I honestly don't know if it was my Xbox that caused the issue or Madden. I just know that the game kind of just blacked out in the middle at one point. And it just like corrupted corrupted a bunch of footage around the incident, and it ended up corrupting like half the game. It was really annoying. And you'll probably see here that I wanted like a good, cool jersey matchup, all orange versus all purple. You'll see that's how we start the game, but not how we finish it, because the game just got like corrupted in the middle. I just thought, oh, there's an issue, I can just come back into the game, restart it and go, but no. It like actually just destroyed my game in general. The first time this ever happened to me, so I didn't know to look out for it, or maybe I would have just restarted the game. But I didn't know the footage was corrupted until after the episode was already recorded, so I couldn't, since it's an online franchise, there's no save as. I couldn't go back and replay the game or anything like that. By the time I realized it, it was much too late. So this is unfortunately what we have to deal with. Is Carson Wentz is the quarterback of the Vikings. I don't know how he's getting a fourth chance as a starter with his fourth team. That's insane to me. He's not good enough. He's not even good enough to have been picked by the Commanders to be their starting quarterback. I think his starting career probably should have ended with the Colts. But yeah, here, let's just cut here to the end of the game. As we see, this is a 31-3 victory. This game was not close at really any point. As you can see, there was a audio desync between the video and the audio. That's why I didn't really want to play the fourth quarter. We did score a couple touchdowns and all. It just wasn't very good. Let's go through the player stats in this game, though. Over 100 rating for Hamilton, 19 of 33, 276, 2 touchdowns, no picks on the day. Vaughn Simmons, 2 touchdowns, 179 yards. We did get 150 yards for Hazelton. I kind of decided pre-game that which I wasn't able to talk to you guys about because we skipped the game, that even though we're trying to be a playoff this team this year, I think getting Hazelton to superstar is more important than the win, so I was going to force it to him no matter what. Turns out, didn't really affect our ability to win is because we destroyed the Vikings. And so let's go ahead and get Eddie Hazelton his superstar breakout 4000 XP to go along with it as well is awesome. That adds, what is that, the fourth player with abilities on our offense, which is awesome. I think we have, let's see, defensively, we have Reed, Costanzo, Boston, and Connor. So we have 4 players with abilities on each side of the ball now. That's awesome. Here in year 3, I didn't think we'd be that good already. Like I've continually said, we have had a bunch of luck in the draft as we try to figure out a ability for Hazelton. I think runoff elite could be good. He's got 98 speed, so it kind of goes along with his abilities. If somebody's that fast, you're gonna maybe pay more attention to him running off the line than because he poses a threat in something like the play action. And that should help out our run game, which is just an added boon, especially because running the ball has been a lot harder this year. This was the one game I'm sad this footage was corrupted because of all the videos. I guess there's only been 2 so far, but I also know what happens next game. Maybe a little sneak peek because that episode's already recorded. Running the ball has been extremely difficult this year, especially early on in the game. It seems like we pick it up in the later game pretty often. But this is the one game where running the ball was just easy throughout. I think you saw he had like a 7 yards per carry that game. Eddie Hazelton gets an additional 2,500 XP by getting the 10 and breakout the following week. That's really the only reason I get those scenarios, because all the temporary boosts you get from succeeding these scenarios I just don't think are worth much. But just getting 2,500 XP for a player that had a really good week the week prior, I think is awesome. So let's get into our game plan here against the Chargers. Of course, this is the simulated game. Had I realized the footage was corrupted sooner, we would have counted the Minnesota game as the sim game and played this one. Unfortunately, it wasn't until I went to record this episode that I realized it. So just kind of commentating over the previous footage, and it's unfortunate. Hopefully it's something that just happens once. I mean, we're 20 some odd episodes into the year, and that's the first time it happened. I mean, if you include Bears franchise, we're 40 episodes into Madden, and that's the first time it happened. I know I had problems with corrupted footage or whatever, bad footage in the Bears series, but that was a totally different issue. That was just because I had no idea what I was doing. I was just barely starting out on YouTube when I started my Bears franchise, so that was on me. This one is completely, like I said, I don't know if it's on Xbox or on Madden, but one of the 2 messed up, so we get no gameplay for this episode. I don't know how long this episode is going to be. Probably not much more than 10 minutes if it even hits 10 minutes. So get a little bit of a mid-season break, I guess. Not really mid-season. We're only 3 episodes in, and the season's 9 episodes. So a 3rd season break, maybe, at 2/3. We'll have another episode like this. I don't know. Probably not. Hopefully not. At least not because of corrupted video. If we just need a 2/3 season break where we just simulate 2 games instead of playing one, sure, whatever. Probably not, though. I like our method of having 1 game played and 1 game simulated every episode. I think it does a good job of making your team ratings matter, because even though we're winning a lot, maybe more than we should in the games that we're playing, because we simulate, I'm not just going to take, an 81 overall team and be 13-4 because we're winning a lot, because these simulated games matter. Our team's still not very good if you look at it compared to other teams in the league. So we should be losing a lot of these games in simulation. And I think helps with that, as this is a very good game. It is tied and going to overtime, but we can't get the stop against the Chargers. They march right down and in overtime score a touchdown and get the win over us. An unfortunate divisional defeat, of course, but felt like we've had a lot of really close games against the Chargers recently. Of course, last season our episode was the game-winning kick from Welker to beat the Chargers. This time they beat us in overtime. That's becoming a pretty good rivalry here. I'd still say our number one rival is the Chiefs, mostly just because we haven't. They were our first franchise win ever. Then after that, we haven't been able to beat them. Now 1-3. Although I think we're also 1-3 against the Chargers, so I don't know. I think the Chargers and the Chiefs and the Broncos have all taken it to us at times, and we've also beaten them. The one team, we see, I tried to play this game. It took 3 times to try to play this game. Same thing happened with the Eagles. It didn't end up corrupting my footage though, because that one was just an internet problem, not a Madden or a Xbox problem. But let's go back and look at the stats because I forgot to. 3 interceptions for Hamilton is unfortunate. I updated playbooks. I had a suggestion in the comments. We're in Atlanta. I said I was going to do San Francisco, but that gives a lot of carries to your wide receiver 1. Oh, we're disconnected from the league. Great. I did Atlanta because they have a high usage tight end. They have a quarterback who's kind of mobile but not incredible. And they also run the ball a lot. So I think Atlanta's a pretty good sim playbook. I felt like we had a pretty good game. Devin Hamilton throwing 3 picks is probably the reason that we lost. But that's all I have for this episode. Thanks for sticking with me, and I will see you for the next one.